Ok, bueno, en primera instancia, muchísimas gracias por conectarse, por estar aquí presentes a esta capacitación. Está segmentada en tres grandes momentos, lo que vamos a hacer hoy, más o menos de unos 20, 30 minutos. Primero les voy a contar un poco cuál es el aula o el espacio virtual en el que vamos a trabajar, qué tiene, cuáles son sus características. Después voy a profundizar en lo que tiene que ver con los protocolos de coaching, es decir, qué es lo que va a ocurrir en esa sesión cuando estemos con los estudiantes. Les vamos a contar un poquito cómo están constituidos los grupos de estudiantes o a dónde hay más estudiantes, en qué niveles y cómo nos vamos a organizar para poder hacer este trabajo con ellos ya a mediados de la otra semana que les damos horarios a partir de la disponibilidad que ustedes nos acompañaron, o más bien que ustedes nos indicaron en el documento o en el formulario que llenaron. Y después vamos a tener una parte para que ustedes conozcan la plataforma NIO, que es en la que ellos están estudiando, están avanzando en sus actividades, sus puntajes, sus mastery tests, sus pruebas de certificación. Y finalmente vamos a cerrar con una clase modelo a partir del protocolo que vamos a usar de las sesiones de coaching para que ustedes puedan ver un poco cómo es que debe transcurrir, digamos, esa sesión de trabajo. Esa sesión de trabajo con los estudiantes, lo vamos a ver más adelante, realmente se hace bastante corta con los estudiantes o el estudiante, porque en algunos casos tenemos no grupos, sino una o dos personas que van a estar a cargo de algunos de los coaches, una sesión realmente o una cantidad de gente bastante pequeñita, pero es porque solamente hay uno o dos, en algunos casos, niveles de personas de niveles más elevados dentro del grupo de participantes. En total, en este momento tenemos aproximadamente 92 personas becadas. Ya prácticamente el 97% hicieron el placement test. Y les voy a contar a grandes rasgos en qué niveles están esas personas. Tenemos 13 personas en el grupo de starters, que eso es totalmente de cero, ¿verdad? Que probablemente nunca han estado expuestos al idioma, no tienen ningún conocimiento de nada. Están totalmente beginners. Después tenemos un nivel un poco más avanzado que el beginner, que es el pre-A1, en donde tenemos 16 personas, perdón, en el starter tenemos 13 personas, en pre-A1 tenemos 16 personas. Después tenemos en ese grupo, en el A1, 16 personas, en el A1 Plus, 17 personas. Entonces, en esos niveles es que se engloba la mayoría de personas que tenemos becadas en este proceso. Son niveles muy, muy iniciales. Después tenemos 4 personas en A2, ya un poquito, digamos, beginner, empezando lo que sería, digamos, avanzando un poco más hacia niveles intermedios. Tenemos 10 personas en A2 Plus, entonces ahí también tenemos una representación interesante de personas en ese nivel. Y después ya a partir del nivel A2, en B1, B1 más, B2, B2 más y C1, tenemos grupos muy, muy pequeños de entre 4 y 2 personas. Incluso el grupo más avanzado, que es de B2 Plus y C1, ¿verdad? Que son únicamente 3 personas, lo unimos en un único grupo que, dicho sea paso, aprovechamos un horario de día sábado con don Francisco, que está por aquí presente, y eso me complace muchísimo, para que él pueda ayudarle más a esas personas ya más avanzadas, que probablemente lo que estén buscando, don Francisco, es sobre todo temas de fluidez, ¿verdad? De hablar de temas del mundo, de la vida, de historia, de países. Entonces por ahí, vamos a canalizar esos temas, ¿de acuerdo? Ustedes recordarán que nosotros les decíamos que o como parte de la participación de ustedes en este proyecto con las personas becarias, les íbamos a crear un correo electrónico, que es un correo electrónico de Google, pero en un dominio específico que nosotros tenemos como compañía, que es EduAcademy. Entonces el correo usualmente se conformó con su primer nombre, punto, su apellido, @ eduacademy.ac. ya nosotros creamos esos correos, ya tuvo que haberles llegado a sus correos personales algún tipo de indicación o todavía no les ha llegado, Charito, en esa indicación de la creación de correos.
No, no se ha enviado todavía.
Ok. Pero ustedes van a tener para este proceso, digamos, ese correo electrónico. Entonces, lo primero que después de esta sesión van a recibir es ya el acceso a ese correo de personal asociado a este dominio de Edu Academy, que es nuestro dominio educativo. Y desde ese correo ustedes van a tener acceso a un aula virtual y también al uso de Meet, pero no el uso de Meet de Google de manera general, como el que tenemos, digamos, en nuestros correos personales gratuitos, sino un uso de Meet que les va a permitir hacer otras cosas, dentro de las cuales va a ser uso de hacer grupos, por ejemplo, trabajo en equipo, en una sesión, digamos, dividida, donde si pueden haber, por ejemplo, 5 personas y quieren trabajar en un grupo de 3 y de 2, pueden hacer salas y dividirlas, pueden también grabar. Entonces, desde esos correos electrónicos es que ustedes van a tener, por así decirlo, la extensión o las salas de Meet desde la que van a poder trabajar para darle los espacios a los estudiantes que se conecten en sus propias sesiones de trabajo. Entonces, por eso es importante que activen sus correos y a través de la activación de sus correos van a tener el acceso al aula. Entonces, bueno, vamos a ver, voy a ingresar entonces al aula. El aula es en una herramienta que tiene Google. Nosotros trabajamos con Google for Educación, que se llama Classroom. ¿Ustedes están familiarizados con esta herramienta de Classroom que tiene Google? ¿La conocen?
Yo no.
Yo no. Y trabajo para Google.
Sí,
Únicamente.
Ok. ¿Quién más? Gloriana no la conoce, Francisco, Alejandro y Leonardo.
yo sí la
¿Vos sí?
conozco.
Ok, perfecto. ¿Y Alan?
No la conozco, pero de lo más que he llegado a usar es, por ejemplo, la pizarra de Google, que es Jamboard, y de esta aplicación de Meet.
Ok, perfecto. Entonces sí conocen más o menos. Pero si todos están familiarizados con el uso de aulas virtuales.
Eso sí.
Eso
¿Podrían
sí,
decir?
yo sí.
Perfecto. Entonces ahí la lógica más bien es más sencilla, ¿verdad? Porque realmente lo que tiene el aula de Classroom, ¿verdad? Bueno, este es el grupo en el que ustedes están invitados a través de su correo de Edu Academy, se llama así, de English Bridge Project Volunteer Coaches. Y van a tener, bueno, la prueba, aquí van a tener, por ejemplo, aquí a la derecha, en caso de que yo quiera, van a tener un código específico para esta clase y aquí si hubiese tareas. Básicamente el aula abre así en un muro donde ustedes como pueden ver aquí en el muro, yo ya les puse un mensaje de bienvenida y un videíto para que tengan chance de entrar a verlo sobre la importancia del inglés y por qué es importante ser una persona bilingüe, qué beneficios y ventajas nos da para la vida. Y después de ahí, entonces, en el muro de novedades es que podemos subir, también ustedes pueden publicar alguna novedad, alguna información que quieran compartir de temas de aprendizaje del inglés. Después de ahí, aquí arriba ustedes van a ver hay una sección de trabajo en clase y en esa sección de trabajo en clase hay dos elementos. Lo que serían los programas de nivel o level programs y los new resources. En estos level programs van a tener lo que serían, por así decirlo, los programas de estudio de cada nivel que vamos a estar ofreciendo. Por ejemplo, yo ahora le hablaba a Francisco que él va a asumir un grupo de estudiantes, de los estudiantes más avanzados o los becados más avanzados que tenemos. Entonces es importante que Francisco entre a que es el programa de C1. Ay, vamos a ver. Ajá, que es el programa de C1 y se fije cuál es la competencia estándar, cuál es el propósito del programa, pero pueda ver sobre todo aquí cuáles son los resultados de aprendizaje y las unidades que se desarrollan en esos niveles para que él vea qué pueden hacer los estudiantes o qué deberían lograr hacer los estudiantes. Entonces, por ejemplo, viene en la unidad 1, los estudiantes aprenden a identificar ideas principales e información específica en textos sobre temas complejos como temas de salud pública u otros problemas globales. Entonces, por ejemplo, en las sesiones de coaching se podrían utilizar publicaciones, por ejemplo, de algún medio digital de Estados Unidos o de Inglaterra sobre temas, por ejemplo, de la guerra contra Ucrania o por ejemplo, el calentamiento global, temas que permitan mandarles algunos artículos a los estudiantes y que eso sea un tema de conversación, por ejemplo, que pueda venir en las sesiones de coaching. ¿Verdad? Entonces ahí están y es importante entonces que una vez que ustedes sepan cuál es el nivel que les va a tocar trabajar, puedan entrar o a bajar el programa correspondiente a esos niveles para que vean más o menos cuál es el nivel que tienen que alcanzar los estudiantes y ahí están esos programas. Después están los New Resources, que eso se los vamos a explicar más adelante, que vienen los 5 pasos de estudio en NIO, que es los 5 pasos sobre los que nosotros capacitamos a los becarios, que son 5 momentos específicos para estudiar en la plataforma. Recordemos que ellos están estudiando en una plataforma adaptativa de aprendizaje del idioma inglés que certifica los diferentes niveles que ellos van obteniendo, pero que va a certificar a partir del logro o alcance de ciertos puntajes que ellos tienen que hacer por semana. En promedio, un promedio de 7,000 puntos de trabajo para poder ir alcanzando en aproximadamente 3 meses, cada 3 meses, un nivel diferente del idioma inglés. Y vieran qué interesante, porque ya tenemos resultados interesantes. Hemos estado aplicando, ahora les voy a enseñar un video, hemos estado aplicando con esta metodología en algunos estudiantes en Guanacaste, en la Dirección Regional de Santa Cruz, con el Ministerio de Educación Pública, y hay un estudiante que ha, como si se quiere, alcanzado todas las metas de certificación y más bien superado. Le hicimos una entrevista para ver cuál es su nivel de adquisición del idioma a partir de toda la exploración que él ha hecho y realmente ya maneja un nivel bastante fluido y está muy contento y orgulloso. Entonces sentimos que el proyecto, cómo funciona y con el acompañamiento de una persona que quiera colaborar en la parte de speaking, como ustedes, para con los estudiantes, genera muy buenos resultados. Después está aquí en personas, estamos los que, ¿verdad? Los que vamos a estar siempre en contacto con ustedes, que somos los Karen, Carla, Víctor y yo desde la parte académica y Kevin y Sharon desde la parte más de gestión del proceso. Y vean que aquí están ya ustedes como alumnos, ¿verdad? Por aquí está don Francisco, aquí está Gloriana también. Y ya una vez que ustedes ingresen a sus correos y todo, ya esta invitación probablemente está en el correo, ustedes nada más le dan clic y ya ingresan al aula a ver, digamos, todos estos recursos, ¿ok? Si ustedes en esta parte de arriba del aula ven, también se dan cuenta que aquí hay la opción de un calendario de Google, está la parte de la configuración de la clase, pero está también una carpeta de Drive de esa clase. Ajá, entonces esta clase tiene una carpeta de Drive. Le voy a dar clic a esa carpeta de Drive y regálenme nada más un momentito para pasarme de pantalla. Y en la carpeta de Drive se van a encontrar, bueno, los recursos que ya yo les compartí, los programas de estudiantes y todo. Y hay 3 carpetas. Hay 3 carpetas que tenemos que explorar cada uno. Entonces, por ejemplo, vamos a ver, aquí está, voy a basarme en un ejemplo con alguno de ustedes y ya les digo, Alejandro. Vamos a ver, Alejandro. Ajá, Alejandro Cerdas, ajá. Alejandro Cerdas le estamos, ¿verdad? Preliminarmente solicitando en uno de los horarios que nos facilitó, que sería el de los lunes a las 9 de la mañana, que trabaje con un grupo de starter a las 8 de la mañana, con 4 estudiantes de starter, más o menos. Entonces, Alejandro, como va a trabajar con starter, debería poder entrar a esta carpeta y entrar aquí a lo que serían las Online Session Protocols. Entonces, Y en este momento me acordé que esta sesión la íbamos a hacer en inglés, así que ahora voy a cambiar a inglés. ¿Están de acuerdo? Ok.
Yes.
Okay, great. So, the idea for you to work with the students is not to develop a regular class or not to be a regular teacher that teaches, for example, or grammatics or explains or spends the whole class explaining things to the students or projecting some information and keeping the students uh, in a very inactive role, like just listening and listening and listening of what you were saying. But the idea of the coaching process that you can develop with the students in this experience is to have with them the possibility to speak. We want you to work with them in academic activities or learning activities where you and the students, as you as a coach and the students, have the chance to communicate, to have fun, to learn together, and also that you can evaluate based on what you hear of what students can do. Um, the development that they are, the grammar structures that they are learning, the vocabulary that they are developing, and help them communicate as the way we in a professional way. So I was in the example of Alejandro. So Zumbay, for example, I'm sorry, I'm learning,
I I, I heard that.
yes,
Somebody very good.
I'm learning German, and sometimes se me cruzan los cables. So Entschuldigung. Entschuldigung, sí. Okay.
I have the same situation because I'm learning French.
Oh, yes. And the brain process the information when you are bilingual with the same channels and neurons. So it's sometimes it's very complicated. So I'm really sorry if I make mistakes sometimes. All right. So I was giving the example with Alejandro that I said that we were planning for him to attend a group or to give the chance to speak with a group of pre-1. So he must go to the, for example, pre-A1 coaching protocol. All right. So I'm gonna change to the protocol. So a protocol is a guide that you can follow in order to divide the 1 hour session, the 60 minutes lesson or session that you have with the participants. So you only have 60 minutes per week with them. So it's very important to be active, and it's very important to take into account that you only have 60 minutes to help them communicate at least for an hour so they can use and practice the learning processes that they are acquiring in the platform they are working in. So this is, for example, the coaching protocol of A1. So the first thing, the first minutes of the session, it's going to be a part or a moment of welcoming, the welcome to session, the warming up, where you can, for example, in the first sessions that you are going to have with the students, you can give them the class rules that we're going to check in a moment. But also you can open or break the ice with them, doing a personal sharing. For example, one day you can talk about hobbies. You can ask them about what they do in their free time, what is their favorite food, information about, I don't know if they came from vacation time or if it is Christmas, that maybe you are going to work with them during Christmas. So what are they planning to do during Christmas? So you can share with them personal information, and you can model based on your own experience what would you do, and you can provoke some of the communication based on personal sharing. After that, you in this part of the warming up, you can use a learning hook. What is a learning hook? A learning hook, it could be anything. It could be a video that you saw, for example, a song, a meme, for example, that you got in WhatsApp and you thought it was funny. So you can start with a game also, with a podcast, a short podcast. And we give in every protocol, we give you an example of a reading or a video or something that you can use as a learning hook to start the session with the students and to give the session a good start. The session rules that you should clarify as many times as you need it in the processes, the idea for them to speak English during the class, even if they have to repeat what you are trying to help them to say, but speak English, be punctual and responsible, turn on your camera when it's being asked. For example, sometimes it's better to understand the other person when you have your camera on so you can see the movement of the lips and the way the other person expresses it. Bad words are forbidden. Have a positive attitude and follow the instructions also that you have to give them. So you can add, of course, all the other rules that based on the experience that you're having. Maybe sometimes you want to add some other rule, so you can download the presentation and you can add your own rules. Then it comes like the development of the session, which is the learning goals, part. This is like if it is a story, this is kind of the middle of the story, the longest part of the story. So here is where you are going to have the possibility with them to go deep in some learning goals, to use oral structures of grammatical structures that they got from the platform that they are learning, new vocabulary that they acquired in the platform. So you can, if you, for example, you have several options to do that. I'm gonna stop sharing the presentation the way it is, so I can show you something that you have here in the presentation. Let me see. You have several options to do this. The first option is that you ask, if you want to do a more exploratory approach, you can ask the participants based on, sometimes we have very talkative people, so it's very easy with them to make like a brainstorm of the vocabulary and the grammatical structures that they learn, because they can remember, oh, I learned about the family, I learned about food, I learned about the colors and numbers, I learned about, I don't know, animals. So you have uh, you can use, for example, this model of inventory, where you can project this with your students and you can write all the vocabulary of words that they give you, that they learn during the session, during the use of the platform. And also you can write in here some expressions. You can use these I forgot the word. Basis diapositiva.
The slide.
Slide. Thank you. I remember that in German, not in English, but ya iba a decir, was is diapositiva out of Deutsch? Deutsch. Okay, so you can use this, but you can also use, as Alan Leonardo mentioned, some screen of Zoom, for example, of Google. You can use any other tools that you know how to use to do this inventory. So this is a technique where you can do something very exploratory if the group is very talkative, because there are groups that are not talkative, that you have to give them a lot of hooks and a lot of ideas in order to communicate. So this is an approach that you can use in order to develop the class. So you can give them also some sentences written in the screen. For example, my name is, and they have to say their names. I live in, I am, my favorite hobbies are. So this is especially when you have very beginners group, where you want to give them each one the option to say something, so you can see how they pronounce, how they communicate, and you can give them the chance to give them feedback. You can have the chance to give them feedback and to correct some mistakes that they do. So they have the chance to formulate new oral expressions in every session. Remember in this time to give them the chance to every participant to speak, to share, to motivate asking questions and interacting. And sometimes in some groups we have very talkative students. So it's sometimes if you don't pay attention, it's gonna be only you and the other person talking. So you have to be very careful to also take into account the other people that are in the room, so you can ask them questions, or also telling the person that is not that is participating a lot, that she or he must stay quiet a little bit, so he can or she can give the possibility to other people to interact. And if you can see here in the bottom of the slide, we in comments, we also linked a document for this level, that is coach materials, that is totally directed to the use of the platform, so you can see what kind of questions and topic you can develop in that session, in that coaching session. So you have to explore to see all the materials that you have in here, so you can give them ideas of what topics to talk about, or for example, sometimes if they are saying they are studying, for example, the colors, and you see that here in the coaching materials, so you can bring a colorful picture, and you can take advantage of the class, project the picture, and ask them what color is the umbrella, what color is the grass, and you can interact only based on a picture. So it depends a lot in your creativity. You have several approaches. You have also presentations that we give you in the platform. I'm going to show you later where you can look for presentations, but we don't want you to feel forced that you have to do these with these materials. The only thing we want you to know is that you have 3 moments, and we are going to see in the third moment just in a second, but you have an organization of the session, and I want you to have clear what you have to do in every moment of the session. And after that, you can use your creativity based on what the students can discuss based on the level that they have. After that, you have the checking progress, where you in a minute I'm going to give the chance to Vic, so he can show us the platform and the progress of the students. So as I mentioned, every student is working in a platform and is having a progress. So it's very important that once you have the names of your students, you can enter the platform and see how they are progressing. And in this part is very short, but it's to show them the progress that every student has in the platform, and that you can discuss. Maybe if they don't have the right level, you can do it in Spanish, because this is just like a motivation part of the session, where you ask them what have been the keys to this progress, what could you do to improve, what tips could you share, so they can share tips, for example, or work at night when everybody's asleep, or work during the weekends, or spend an hour per day, so it's not going to be a hard work because it's just divided into the days of the week. What is my perception of my progress in learning, how I feel that I am progressing. And in the final part of each protocol, you have some tips for me, sort tips that you can use during the session to help the students to communicate a little bit more. Okay, so this is mainly all the levels have the same 3 moments, and what we like you is that you explore, and of course to have your first session to see what you need, and based on your necessities, for example, you can tell us, oh, I need more pictures or more ideas. We will be helping you, giving you month by month and week by week some other ideas, so you can have more opportunities to develop activities with the students. But I think these materials that we are offering you in the first part of for this part of the project is enough, so you can start and have other possibilities to start developing the sessions. As I told you, is not a class where you have to explain grammar. It's more like a speaking class, or giving the people the chance to express themselves based on the level they have. Okay. So now, Vic, I think Karen is not in here, or is she here? No, she's not here. So Vic, I'm gonna ask you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you 2 favors. We decided with Karen in the morning that it would be a good idea not only to show the progress, the progress data of every student, but showing them the process of NEO, the pedagogical part, how the students do, what are the students intended to do, what kind of exercises they have to do, so they can have a general overview of the work the students are doing in the platform. And after that, you can show them how to see the reports of the student. But I would like you to do like a visit to show them, to make clear, so they have a good clarification of how are the students learning in NEO. Mhm. Right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Give me 1 second then, okay? I'm just gonna pull something out.
Okay.
Fantastic.
While Victor is preparing himself for this part, do you, Alejandro, Francisco, Leonardo, Gloriana, do you have any question?
No questions. Thank you.
No
Everything
questions.
No,
Okay.
thanks.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay, just a moment. You know, they say that when there are no questions, it's because everything was clear or because no one understood anything. So I really hope it's
Hope
the
it's not-
first
yeah.
one instead of the second one. Um, just a second.
I do have a question.
Yeah?
Oh, great.
In this last section, the third section, where we show the progress to each student, are
Yes.
we supposed to do this during the whole class or separate? Like tell them to each student the progress individually? Because if we have 10 students, it's going to take a lot of time.
Yeah, you're not gonna, hopefully you're not gonna have 10 students. The bigger courses or classes are gonna be 5.
Okay, great.
Yes. So, but if you don't have a lot of time, you can make like a summary of the progress, and you can make this part. You have the chance to, for example, to send a question using WhatsApp to the students. So if you don't have time in the session, just you can do it individually later.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, great. Okay. So what I'm gonna show you right now is uh it's a document that we share with the students to explain to them the process that they're gonna follow in order to study, in order to learn in NEO. Okay, so every lesson in NEO has a defined sequence. Students are going from the encountering new content and encountering new language and encountering new structures to slowly becoming more and more familiar with them, becoming more fluent with them, making sure that they understand them appropriately, that they know in which context that they can be applied. And then gradually we move them from just listening to listening and practicing their pronunciation on their own. It's a cycle where we encourage conscious repetition rather than mechanical repetition. And mechanical repetition and conscious repetition are two different things. They're two completely different animals. And this is what sometimes students struggle with because whenever they think repetition, they think, okay, I'm just going to mechanically repeat it. The idea of conscious repetition is that you repeat it so that you can gradually become better and better with this particular chunk of language or with this particular sound or with this particular structure.
Vic, are you showing something in the screen?
Not yet. Not yet.
Oh,
Not yet.
okay, okay. Because
Yeah.
I thought you were explaining something, but you were not showing anything. Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to share with you the document in Spanish because this is what we usually share with students just because we don't want to make sure we want to make sure that there are no language barriers in terms of we want them to have all the information on how to use the platform as clear as possible so that they can use it effectively. We see it as first you need to learn to use the tool so that then you can use the tool to learn, right? So it's kind of a cycle, but we do know that they need to learn to use the tool appropriately before they can learn with the tool appropriately as well. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so this is the students guide. This is something we're going to share. We have actually shared with the students that are already enrolled in the project. Um, and something that I really want to emphasize is the 5 lesson steps and the buttons. In a few moments, we're going to see the actual interface for the students. But before that, I just want to show you this so that we can become familiar with it. Okay, the platform or the interface has several buttons. This one allows students to repeat what they have heard. We believe that repetition, in terms of being able to listen to a phrase as many times as they need to, in order to fully grasp the sound, the whole chunk of language and its little details, it's super important. And what happens very often with language learners is if they only get to listen to the teacher in the classroom, but they need to ask for repetition, sometimes they don't ask for it because they might be shy and they might feel self-conscious that their classmates are going to notice. Or if they're brave and they ask for repetition, they will ask for repetition once, but sometimes they need more repetition than that. They need to hear the phrase several times in order to just fully grasp it. So we recommend students to use this button as often as possible, as often as necessary, to just make sure they're understanding everything. There's an option where students can record their voice, and this is a part for conscious repetition. They're going to listen again to the chunk of language spoken by a native speaker, and then they're going to record themselves saying the same phrase. And then after saying the same phrase, they're going to listen to themselves. And the idea is that they're going to compare and self-assess how they are doing. If they are already grasping, if they're pronouncing appropriately, if they need a little bit more practice, they can practice as many times as they want. And this type of behaviors, the platform rewards them by giving students more points. The more they use these buttons, the more they use this process, the faster their certification will be, because the platform interprets this as quality quality work, quality study, quality use, high quality use of the platform itself, rather than just going through the motions, so to speak, without really grasping and without really struggling with the language in order to master it. What NEO's methodology aims for is not just that students can repeat, it's not just that students can memorize. That's not what we're looking for. What we're looking for is, through this process of conscious repetition and of this cycle of becoming, of encountering new language and gradually becoming more and more familiar with it, and gradually becoming able to use a language to communicate, what we're looking for is for the production to become automatic for them. We want them to be able to just, without thinking about the phrase or without thinking about the language in Spanish, just be able to produce automatically in English. And that is done through this process of a lot of exposure, a lot of conscious repetition, all of that. We've seen, and the developers have seen and have researched, that this process makes for some long-lasting connections on the brain, long-lasting synapses, and this leads to automatic production of the language and long-lasting learning. Okay, it's just practice and practice and practice and practice. It's very practical. It requires a lot of engagement on behalf of the student. The student needs to be very active while they're using the platform. They can't just be, like, listening to the platform and doing or watching something else. They need to be engaged, and they need to be uh, thinking and mentally engaged, and even physically engaged with the platform, touching the buttons and interacting with it. Okay. Every time they use one of these buttons, every time they complete an exercise, every time they do something well in the platform is going to give them points, and they have a target. Students have a target of points that they need to accomplish every week in order for them to remain in the program. If they fall too far behind their participation in the program is at stake. So this part of giving them feedback and coaching them and reminding them of this very important goal, of this very important objective, it's very crucial, and it's one of the things where we need your help a lot, because this is about developing a habit, and habits, good habits, are sometimes hard to develop. We all know it. We've all experienced how hard forming a good habit can be. So this is about helping them develop that habit and helping them integrate this language learning process in their day-to-day life, so that they can develop faster, and they can develop their skills faster. What we have seen is that it's not about spending 3 hours on a Sunday sitting in front of the computer or sitting in front of your mobile device in order to complete everything that you had to do during the week. It's about little sustained, consistent interactions. That's what we're looking for. It's better for us, and it's better for the learner to do 30 minutes every day over 6 days than to do 3 hours on a Sunday, or two sessions of an hour and a half. Okay, does that make sense so far? Does anybody have any questions or something that I can expand? Hello, hello.
No
All good?
questions. Yep.
No? Okay.
Everything here?
Okay, fantastic. So let's move on. Now we're going to take a look at the lesson steps. Okay, so the lesson steps, we have 5 lesson steps. This is the home screen for the students. We can also, if that's okay for you, we can enable as we mentioned in other of the sessions, we can enable a user for you to use the platform as a student, so you can get familiar with it. But basically what students need to do is, once they log sorry, once they log in, all they need to do is click here on Study Now. They're going to have their total points here. This button will not be available for them, and they're going to have their goal here. Okay? So, there are some other details and situations. There are some lessons that students can save and interact with later. But what we want to focus on is this. Okay? Um, as I mentioned earlier, the methodology of the platform takes students from this very familiar concept of known to unknown, of something new, and then gradually becoming more familiar with it. And then what the platform does is that it divides each chunk of, or each set of vocabulary, each skill, micro skill that the students need to develop in order to communicate in a certain way. For example, talking about your daily activities involves several micro skills. It involves knowing the vocabulary, it involves knowing the grammar, it involves having the right pronunciation, it involves all of these things, right? So what Neo does is that it breaks down all of these micro abilities, and it just gives students, or takes students on this path of first doing a preview. Okay, one of the elements of successful learning, especially for students and autonomous learning, is having a clear idea of what you're going to learn. So the first step is giving them a preview of everything that they're going to learn in this particular session. And then gradually we focus and double down on some of these skills. Then on the second lesson step, they are going to listen to these languages, and this is purely listening. Right now, we're only doing listening, and the idea is to just get them familiar with these new languages and with these new, with these new elements of language, with these new chunks of language, and getting them to really understand what the language is about, or what this structure, this new vocabulary is about. Here, we combine 2 channels. We combine the auditory channel and we combine the visual channel, because when we combine them, they reinforce themselves. So they see, for example, an image of a girl, and they hear, "This is Anna." You know, they're not going to hear isolated words. We usually try to put the words into context, into chunks, so that production becomes smoother and more fluid. So if they hear a structure, they're not just going to hear the word is or the verb to be or all these things, but they're going to hear it in a context. They're going to hear it in a phrase that they could actually use in real life. Okay. Now, when they hear the phrase, when they see the image, their brain is going to their automatic language structures in the brain are going to gradually start connecting the meaning of what they're looking at and what they're seeing. And then they're going to see another picture of a different person, maybe a boy, and this is going to tell them, this is Tony, right? And, you know, their brain is going to start making more connections. And they're going to see another picture. This is Sanjay, you know, and another boy, right? And I forgot the name of the other girl. I'm thinking about a lesson in particular.
Helen.
But by giving Helen, exactly, by giving them several examples of the same structure, um, with small variations, they're able to construct that meaning. So the platform is never going to deliberately explain a grammar structure, but it's going to allow them to make that deduction. And by making the deduction, it's more deductive language teaching. So by making the deduction through a lot of examples, this learning is a lot more it's a lot more lasting because students are forced to be engaged in the process of constructing that meaning and decoding that meaning. After this process, there's the step to record. Okay, and this is when the students begin to speak. So what the platform does, it gives them the same structures, but this time they have the opportunity to press a button and record themselves saying the same phrase. And this is where conscious repetition comes in, because I record myself, then I listen to the native speaker, and there I have to compare myself and I have to be my own coach and listen to what I'm saying. And if what I'm saying does not, it's not getting closer to the way the native speaker is saying it, then I can do it again and I can practice it as many times as I need to, with that objective of getting better every time. Maybe there's a sound that I'm struggling with, maybe there's a word that I'm having a hard time, maybe it's refrigerator, right? That feels like a tongue twister for a lot of Spanish speakers. So the platform gives them the opportunity to practice these sounds as many times as they need to in order to fully, just grasp and master the meaning and the productive side, the sound, the production of the word in terms of speaking. Okay. Then we have the step number 4, which is very similar to step number 3 in the sense that students also have to repeat what they said, what the phrases are. They might have to answer some questions orally, but now they're being exposed to a speech recognition software. This is where the system assesses or evaluates what students have been doing, and it gives them feedback. We have a video for it, and we're going to be happy to share it with you. But this is where the platform tells them, hey, you're doing all right, or maybe you need a little bit more practice, or I didn't quite get that, right? And this is where a lot of students struggle with, especially if they have not consciously worked on step number 3. If they haven't practiced the record, listen, compare process, the step number 4 is going to be a lot more difficult, because they're going to come and they're going to face the speech recognition engine without the proper practice. And then it's going to keep telling them to try again for some time. And this is where students sometimes, if they haven't done the right work, or if they haven't followed the right steps, they can get a little bit frustrated. Finally, step number 5 is to review. Here they get a chance to see all of the content again. They get a little assessment, a little quiz every now and then, and they get a chance to record themselves again. It's not mandatory. In step number 4, it is mandatory. You have to speak, because if you don't speak, you do not move forward. While in step number 5, it's optional. They can record themselves or not. Something else is that these 5 lesson steps do not occur consequently. They don't occur one after the other. So what the platform does is that it might give you lesson step one of one session, and of course at the beginning you begin with the first lesson step of everything, but then it's going to mix them up, so you might be on lesson step three of one micro skill, then on and then when you're done with that, you're going to move to lesson step two of another micro skill, or you might see a new content. It's going to take them through, or it's going to provide them some variety so that they don't get bored, just interacting with the same language, you know over an extended amount of time. But that variety is also a positive feature because it allows students to stay engaged in the content through the novelty of seeing new language or practicing skills that they had developed before. Okay. In this document, we have a little bit more explanation for each one of these steps. Again, we're going to share all of this information with you, but this is basically the structure of each one of the lessons. Every several thousand points, every 20,000 points, every 30,000 points, so on and so forth, students are going to get a mastery test. These are assessments that are embedded into the program and that are there to double check and see if students are really mastering the material or if they need a little bit more practice. Before every mastery test, students are going to get review lessons so that they can just refresh everything that the mastery test is going to assess. And then if they get a passing score, the passing score for mastery tests is 85 points. If they get a passing score, they move on to the next lessons. If they don't get a passing score, they stay there and they get more review exercises until they pass the mastery test. At the end of everything, at the end of all of the content, students have to take a certification test. And we're going to give you a little bit more information on how those certification tests are going to be applied. We're going to need your help just overseeing that the students, because we don't want a situation where the student does most of the work, but then for the mastery test, they may ask help to their fully bilingual friend or their cousin or their brother, sister, spouse, whatever, to do the certification test, because that would compromise the validity of the certificates. So we do need to apply the certification test under controlled circumstances. Basically, what this means is that we're going to dedicate one session to to gathering all of the students. We're going to take mass certification tests and having them take the test with the camera on and under the supervision of someone from the team, so that we can make sure that the student who is presenting the test is the student who is enrolled in the program. Okay. How am I doing so far? Making sense? I know it's a lot of information and I'm speaking a little bit fast. So feel free to let me know if there's something that you would like me to expand on or go back to.
Do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
Okay. Do you think the process is clear? What do you think of the technique, of the steps, and of the platform in general? What captures your attention? Mhm. Something that I would like to add to what Vic has been saying is that, of course, we know, and you have to be clear with the students that you are not experts in the use of the platform that they are learning in, and that your role is to develop speaking during the coaching sessions. But you also can be a bridge with us, so we can help them if they have any doubts or questions about the platform. You can, of course, write to us in the WhatsApp group or here in the classroom that we are going to have, so we can help you clarify some of the questions that the students have. So what we are going to ask you is that if they give you or they ask you questions, and you don't have the answers, feel free to communicate with us and we can help the students to clarify those questions in every session or in every moment they will need support. Mhm. Okay,
That is correct.
yeah, so we can move on, I think.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna very quickly just get into the platform itself. Students can access the platform through a computer. They can access the platform through a mobile device. All they need is an internet connection, a cell phone, um, or a tablet or a computer. It doesn't have the system requirements are not for a high-end device. They're very, very user-friendly. So I'm gonna get into an A1 account so I can show you a few of the lesson steps in as students will see them. Okay, so for example, this particular student has accomplished 52,067 points out of the 76,500 that they require to get their certification. The way the program is scheduled and the way the program is structured, students should complete one of these certification levels every 3 months. That's why their goal in points and in progress is so important. Because if they do not achieve that certification every 3 months, they will not be able to continue in the program. So that's something that's very, very important. As I said, all they have to do is click here on study now, and that will automatically take them to the next lesson that they have to complete. And then again, there's no getting lost. It's impossible to get lost here because all they have to do is click on study now. Okay, so we're gonna click and get into a lesson. And okay, this is lesson step number 2. In this lesson step, I'm not going to speak. I'm not going to use the microphone. The purpose of this lesson step is for me to become familiar with this new language and make sure I understand everything about the new language and how it just and this is a great opportunity to just see how the visual aids and the auditory information that I'm getting, the audios that I'm getting, are going to help me just build that meaning. Okay.
This is Helen's house. This is Helen's house.
If you notice, every time I use the repeat button, I'm going to get some points. That's, as I said, something that the platform interprets as quality study time. So the more I use these buttons, the better it will be for me. Okay. And here I have a text button that will only become active as after I have heard the audio 3 times. Why do we not present the text right off the bat? Because the brain, if it sees text, it's gonna stop paying attention to listening. It's going to automatically zero in on the text, on the written text, and it's going to stop making that effort from the auditory side. What we want to encourage is the effort of listening, distinguishing the different sounds, distinguishing the different words, noticing the intonation, noticing the pronunciation. All of these things are only done if the only alternative or if the only information that I have is visual and auditory. If I include text, then the auditory part is not going to become so active because the brain is going to focus on the text. Okay, so again,
This is Helen's house.
the more I
This
listen,
is Helen's house.
the more I points I get, and now I can activate the
This
text.
is Helen's house.
The objective of the text is if students are really not being able to process the information, or they're really not understanding what the speaker is saying, they can activate the text, but only after they have tried at least a few times. Okay,
This is Helen's house.
after a few exercises, I'm going to get some questions. It's important
She
that
lives
students
here
get
with her
at least-
husband.
It's important that students get at least 80% correct in
Her
the questions.
address is 15 Maple Street.
if I don't get at least 80%
Her
correct,
telephone
I have to
number is
repeat the exercise.
858-6502.
Here, I did get some text, but it's just because it's
What
building
is
on the
Helen's
idea of the
address?
address. Here's a question. I can listen to the question again.
What is Helen's address?
And if I answer correctly, it's gonna let me
Good
move
choice.
over. If I
Her
don't answer
address
correctly, it's
is
gonna give me a
15
chance
Maple Street.
to self-correct. But at the end of the exercise, I have to
Their
have
house
at
is
least
across the
80%
street
correct
from a small
to pass
park.
it.
Their house is across the street from a small park. The park is on the north side of the street. The park is on the north side of the street. Her house is on the south side of the street. Her house is on the south side of the street.
What is across the street from their house?
Good choice.
There is a park across the street from their house.
There are houses on both sides of the park. There are houses on both sides of the park. There is a bus stop in front of the park.
Okay, so as you can see,
What is in front of the park?
I don't have to repeat, but if I repeat, I get more points.
What is in front of the park?
I think it's a bus stop.
Good choice.
There is a bus stop in front of the park.
In these exercises, sometimes I only have 4 questions.
This is the bus schedule between 7 and 8 o'clock in the morning.
If out of the 4 questions I answer 1 incorrectly, it's going to ask me to repeat it. Because if I answer 3 correct out of 4, I get 75% of the exercises correct. So if I don't answer all of the questions, the less questions I have in the exercise, the less chance for making a mistake I have. Okay, I hope that makes sense.
This is the bus schedule between 7 and 8 o'clock in the morning. Bus number 86 comes at 7:15 and again at 7:40.
There's this little green bar here.
Bus number 38 comes at 7:05, 7:35, and 7:50.
What bus comes at 7:35?
That'll be number 38.
Yes, that's right. Bus number 38 comes at 7:35.
Helen usually takes the 86 bus to school in the morning. Sometimes she drives her car to school.
What bus does Helen usually take? Yes, that's right.
Okay.
She usually takes the 86
And,
bus.
I'm done.
That's enough for now.
Now it's going to ask me if I like this lesson step. If I click this one, it's going to save it. And I can do it again further down the line. Okay, those are called my lessons. Those are like the favorite lessons from the students. If I click here, nothing's going to happen. Nothing bad is going to happen. It's just feedback for the developers. And this one is kind of like the neutral one. So I'm just going to click here. And the system is going to give me the points that I got from this interaction. It's going to tell me the points that I need to get to the next mastery test. Okay, and this is a very common point where students get confused because they see the number go down. They think, Neo took points away from me. It did not take points away from me. It subtracted the points that I earned from the points that I need to the next evaluation, to the next assessment. So that's a very frequent it's a very frequent observation from students, but it's because they are not reading the information correctly. Okay, I can repeat the exercise or I can do it again. Sorry, I can repeat the exercise or I can go to the next one. In this case, I'm just going to click here so I don't repeat it. It's going to take me to the next one here. But now I'm going to go out. Now, remember, as I mentioned earlier, the lesson steps are not consecutive. I'm not going to do lesson step 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, one after the other, but it's going to be a mix of different lesson steps of different lessons so that students eventually integrate everything, especially in the sessions that you're going to be holding with them. I'm going to close this one.
Yeah, Vic, after you finish this part of the presentation, we have a little showcase, show like a model class with Karin and a student. So
Okay.
I'm just gonna ask Francisco or maybe Alejandro, what do you think of the platform and what do you think of this demonstration of what students are doing right now while they wait for you to be the coaches?
It looks interesting. It
Uh-huh.
looks interesting. Yeah, definitely. I I believe it has a very nice path to learn and to repeat, and I like it. I like it. I would like to see it in action with the student to see what they think about it and how it can be improved. But I think so far it does what it needs to do.
Okay, great. Alejandro, are you familiar with platforms like this, or this is the first time that you see a platform to learn languages like this?
Mm, this is my first time with for language specifically, but I believe it is like the common platform to learn basically anything. So it looks pretty easy to use, and that's good because, yeah, as you mentioned, we are not professionals in as teachers, but that's really good that the platform is really easy to use and manage. And I believe that with practice, it will become easier. So yeah, it looks really good.
Okay, great. Just to clarify something, what you mentioned, remember you don't have to use the platform with the students. The students are using the platform in their free time or in the time they are advancing. And during the coaching sessions, what you are going to do is to promote speaking. So you have the chance to see what they are learning, to have conversation of general topics based on the protocols that I just showed you with the 3 moments. With the 3 moments, you have to do the welcoming, the learning goals, and finally to see the advance. So maybe we can see an example of the data of a progress, a report of progress of the students, so they can get an image of what they're gonna see of the students, the advanced process. And after you finish that, we can go with Karen and the showcase for the lesson. Mhm. We cannot hear you.
There we go. Hello.
Yes.
Now we hear you. Uh-huh.
All right, fantastic. So what I'm sharing with you is actually the Neo Universal Dashboard. The Neo Universal Dashboard is a tool that we use to keep track of what the students have been doing and how their progress is developing. Okay, these are the groups of the actual students that we have. These students have been active for several days now, and some of them are actually doing a lot of progress or having a lot of progress. So we wanted to show you this data because this is the data. These are the students that you're actually going to be working with. I'm going to start with the A1, A1 plus level because it has a lot of data and it's going to allow us to really see some interesting details about the students. Okay, so this is where we're going to find them, especially in the classes button. This is where I'm going to find them, and then I'm going to go to this little icon that looks like two silhouettes of people, right? And the name of this tab is, the classroom tab. so we can see the student list of this class. We can see we have 33 students in this class. I can adjust this. So it shows me 10 at a time, or 25 at a time, or 50 or 100, or all of them at a time. I want to see all of them. So I'm going to click on all. And I'm going to get the list of the students in alphabetical order. The system is going to give me several things. First, the student status. This should be a green check for everyone. Then the current level, the level that the students are currently studying at. This is an important column because it tells me the points that the students have accomplished this week. Today's Friday, so by today, students should have done some significant progress already. For example, Alejandro Avila Salazar, he has accomplished 11,000 points. This means that he is studying a lot. But Andres de Jesus has only obtained 859 points. So he is below the expectation that we have. If he continues this way, he's not going to be able to get his certificate, and he's probably not going to be able to continue in the program. So this is where the coach can come in and just talk to him, and Alejandro, Andres, tell me, is everything okay? Are you having any issues with your device? Are you having any issues with your internet connection? What's happening, right? And usually we don't need to lecture the students, but only by showing interest, they usually just pick up, and they remember, oh, yes, I have to do this, and they try to catch up in the time that they have. This is very important, again, because students acquired or they committed themselves to a certain weekly goal, so we can push on that commitment, and we can tell them, hey, remember, you committed yourself to this goal, you committed yourself to this objective, and if you get it, you're going to get a lot of positive results. But if you don't do your part, then we're not going to be able to do our part as well, right? So this coaching process is also very in terms of treating the students as the responsible adults that we expect them to be. So, example, Alejandro Navas Cruz, he hasn't done anything this week, so that is something that if I see him in the class, I may have to, just ask him what's happening, right? And something important is that when students see that you are paying attention, they start paying more attention, right? If something is meaningful for their coach, if something is meaningful for their teacher, it becomes meaningful for them as well. Okay, so this column of points per week, very important. Okay, the average points per week is not that that meaningful, I would say, because what it tells you is depending on the amount of weeks that the student has been in the program and how many total points he has accumulated, what's the average that he's gathering every week. But again, this one is frankly not very useful. Maybe further down the line we'll find a better use for it, but right now the one that is the most important is this one, the points per week, and then the level completion percent. What we're going to do is we're going to tell you, for example, by week 2, students should have, let's say, if it's 8 weeks, no, sorry, it's 10 weeks. So by week 2, students should have 20%. By week 3, they should have 30%. By week 4, they should have 40%. So this is where you can check if the student is actually reaching the completion percentage that we need in order for them to become certified. For example, again, Alejandro is doing a really good job. He's 60% in. He's been doing this for 4 weeks, so he's ahead of schedule. But we also have some people who are behind schedule, and those are the people that we need to, like, pull and make sure that they get the support, all the support that we can offer, so that if they are successful, we have enabled that success. And if they're not successful, we have given them all of the possible support in order to help them reach that success. Even if they don't reach it, we've done all we can on our side to help them reach it. Okay?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much, Vic, for the information. And we're gonna put in the classroom that you're gonna have just a little video so we can give you the way you can check the progress of the students, and then you can see the video and to guide yourself a little bit more. Okay, so right now I know we are not going to have time to see the whole class model that we wanted to show. We want you to show you, but this is what we are going to do. We are going to start the model class right now. Maybe we are going to spend 10 or 15 minutes more than we planned for this training. But if you have to go at 12:30, you are free to go. Anyway, we will keep doing the class and recording the class. So afterwards you can check the final part of this session, and then you can see the whole class happening. Okay? Do you agree that we can do that? If you can stay, it will be wonderful. But if you have to go at 12, 11, 1, 1:30, because I'm lost in the time, 1:30, you can go. But we are going to keep moving with the lesson class model that we wanted to show you. So please go back to the video and you can see the final part of the class. Okay? Francisco, Alejandro, Gloriana, and Alan?
Yeah, I can make the
Yeah,
first.
I will have to go at 1:30, but I will see the video.
Okay.
Yeah, me too. I have to go, but I'll continue with the video later.
Okay, great. So we have a real student in here. I would like to thank and to welcome Eva Maria Segura. Eva, are you there?
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Eva. And Eva is a student from Honduras. It's a student and a real student of Karen. So she's here helping us to do this showcase for you. So we really thank Eva, for your time, and hopefully you're going to do a wonderful job today. So Karen and Eva, you can start now.
Thank you very much. So, guys, are you ready to learn today? Yes, Francisco, Alejandro, Gloriana, are you ready?
Yes.
Yes. Did you study this week? Did you study with Neil?
Yeah.
Yes or no? Yes. Eva, did you study? Gloriana, you say yes, but I doubt it a little bit. Okay,
Maybe.
Eva? Maybe, huh? Remember, guys, you have to get your points every week, right? Because in that way, you're going to get your certification at the end of this period, okay? So I will very quickly share my screen with you, and this is going to be today's class, okay? Today's class number 4, remember, we already have been studying with Neil for 3 weeks, and today's class number 4. These are the objectives for today. We're going to talk about some pet peeves. We're going to talk about food, things to eat, things to drink. So you're going to talk about your preferences. We will discuss some eating habits. So we're going to test ourselves to see if we really are eating good food for our body or not. And just to finish, we're going to discuss some different eating habits that other cultures have. But before that, I want to know, Eva, how was your week? What did you do this week? Anything interesting?
My week was very good.
Okay.
I do some things like read, spend time with me,
That's good.
and some things like this.
Okay, very good. How about the other classes, Eva? Have you been doing homework? Kind of a stress or relaxed?
Yes, I get a little stressed with some classes,
Okay.
but it's all fine. Yes.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
The best.
Excellent. That's good, Eva. That's great. How about you, Gloriana? How was your week?
It was pretty busy.
Busy? Okay.
Yes, but I also enjoyed a lot because it was very busy, but with social activities. So it was very nice.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
Yes.
Do you have a lot of friends, Gloriana?
Yes, but I also went out with my family. My
Great.
father is, yes, his birthday is this Monday, and
Oh, that's good.
yes, he's almost 65 years old, so we are very excited.
Oh,
And we started celebrating like 2 weeks ago. So
for
it's been
sure.
a very busy social week.
Great. It's a blessing to have your father. Okay, so it's good.
Yes.
It's good. How about you, Francisco? How was your week? Good, bad, or stressed?
Normal week at work, nothing major. So yeah,
Okay,
all
nothing
everything's
special.
normal.
Okay,
Exactly.
and you, Alejandro? How was it?
It is still busy. I am actually working,
Okay.
and
No,
hopefully I
Alejandro.
can go home early today.
Okay, and are you gonna rest this coming weekend, or you have plans?
No,
Alejandro,
I'm
you have
going.
plans?
I'm going.
No, no plans?
No, I'm going to rest. I will stay at home and just, I don't know, watch
Okay.
Netflix or something. I don't want to do something, spend my energy.
Okay, that's good. That's good. It's good to rest too, okay? Remember, after a stressing week, we need to relax too. It's good to go out with family. It's good to take time for yourselves too. And I'm very happy that you're okay, guys. Just remember that when we have classes, we already set the rules, and the rules say that whenever you speak, you should turn on your camera, at least when you speak, okay? If you don't have a good internet connection, well, you can turn it off, but it's recommendable to turn it on, okay? So after having set the objectives, we're going to talk about pet peeves. But you might be thinking, what is a pet peeve? Well, I have it here in the small words. A pet peeve is something that someone does that you don't like, that is annoying. So since we're going to talk about eating habits, I'm going to tell you one. I have a friend that after eating, he always takes the food out with his finger and then he sucks his finger. And I'm like, oh, don't do that. I hate it. It's disgusting. Eva, do you have a friend who has a really annoying habit that you get disgusted?
Well, maybe when someone finished to eat and
Mm-hmm.
they just like,
Okay, they suck their or they lick their
yeah,
fingers. That's
yeah, I,
disgusting. Okay, yes. Francisco, you have a friend like this?
No. I think
Not really.
no,
Or
not
you
really.
do something, maybe, Francisco, it's a habit that is not so good, but you do it and somebody gets annoyed by it?
Yeah, probably so. I won't disclose it here, but yes, probably so.
Okay, how about you, Gloriana? Have you seen people eating with their mouth open and spitting while eating? I thank you for your camera, Gloriana.
Yes. I have one, it's not exactly like that, but I have a friend that she always answers her phone while we are at the table. And I think it's really
Ooh,
annoying and probably
it is.
a little disrespectful. I mean, we are
It
eating and we
is.
are having a conversation, but she doesn't get up. She just continues talking like at the table, and I think it's pretty annoying.
It is. It is. Melania, what do you think? If you had a friend like Gloriana's, would you tell that friend something? Would you tell, hey, we're eating, please don't do it? Would you do that?
I would do a game, like a challenge. So
Mm-hmm.
I would put, I don't know, like a ball in the center of the table, and we can put all our cell phones in there, and you can, if you don't touch it, then you can win a dessert or something. So they can.
Oh,
It's
that's nice.
But you know what I hate? What I really, really hate? I don't like it at all. And I am always
Uh-huh.
complaining with the family when they do it. Is using just when they finished taking the toothpicks and put it in the
Mm-hmm.
mouth, like the teeth. I
Oh,
hate that. I hate it. Maybe you go to the bathroom and
disgusting.
you sleep. I don't like that. So that's something that
It is.
annoys me a lot. Yeah.
It is. So, guys, these are called pet peeves. And we have many others, okay? Not only about eating habits, but other things that are also disgusting for us or annoying. Not necessarily disgusting, but annoying, okay? Um, okay, Alejandro, you have to go. Thank you, Alejandro. So I hope to see you next class, okay? Remember to see the recording. You have to follow all the class instructions. So if you remember in Neo, specifically in Matrix vocabulary, we were studying things to eat and things to drink. So Eva, can you please help me reading this part?
Of course, miss. These are
Thank
things
you.
to eat: spaghetti, a steak, some vegetables, and a piece of cake. Here is a hamburger and a soft drink. Spaghetti. Here is some spaghetti. You can always order spaghetti at an Italian restaurant. Steak. This is a steak. Steak is one kind of meat. I love meat, especially steak. Vegetables. Here are some vegetables. Vegetables are good for your health. Corn and tomatoes are both vegetables. I prefer vegetables. I really like corn. Cake.
Mhm.
Here is a piece of cake, of chocolate cake. Chocolate cake is a kind of dessert. Chocolate cake is fattening. Don't eat too much.
Okay, thank you, Eva, very much. Victor, do you like spaghetti?
I do, teacher. I do.
Okay, and what is your favorite sauce? Like the red sauce, or you like the white sauce, like Alfredo, I think it is called? Which one do you prefer?
My favorite is carbonara. Carbonara. It's
Oh,
salt
delicious.
has bacon.
Delicious. With bacon, right?
Yes, it has bacon.
Excellent, excellent. Now, talking about vegetables, Carla, what is your favorite vegetable? Carla, I think Carla left. Okay, Francisco, what is your favorite vegetable? You like vegetables, Francisco?
I'm a vegetarian, so I do. Yes. So
Oh, you
yeah,
do. Okay, so you don't eat any
yeah.
meat, any at all.
No meat at all. No. So
Wow,
so
that's
yeah, I
nice,
like
friends.
I like corn, peas, carrots, potatoes,
Great.
broccoli. I don't like
Oh, delicious.
cauliflower. I like some eggplant if it's well prepared, and it goes very
Okay,
nice with pasta, for example.
great, great,
Francisco, you
Francis.
don't like cauliflower?
No, I don't like cauliflower. It's just it
Mm.
tastes like nothing at all to me. So it's
Oh,
uh,
I know a dip of cauliflower, so maybe you like it. I'm gonna send you the recipe.
Hmm.
thank you.
That's good. Or maybe with a little garlic, maybe it can taste better, perhaps. I don't know. Now,
Yeah,
talking
it just
about
tastes of garlic, right?
cakes, and still you don't like it.
Pardon?
And still with garlic, you don't like it.
No, no, because it's just like, you put garlic in a piece of paper, it's gonna taste like garlic. So it's the same thing. So
Very original, Francisco. I love that one. Yes, okay, that happens sometimes. Now, Eva, cake. They mentioned chocolate cake. You like chocolate cake or you prefer another one?
It's my favorite. I love chocolate
Yeah.
cake.
Ah,
I can eat
delicious. A lot of it gives you a
every
lot of
day.
energy, though.
I really like it.
Okay, okay. If you could eat a piece of chocolate a day, would you?
Yes, miss. Of course.
Wow. So
I
you
really
love
like
it. You really love it.
yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Gloriana, can you please help me with things to drink, please?
I'm starting the camera. Yeah. Well, I
Thank
drink a
you.
lot of water
Okay.
because, like, natural drinks, they have a lot of sugar. I love fruits,
They do.
but since I eat a lot of fruits during the day, I tend to avoid like drinks with more sugar. So,
Okay.
but other drinks, um, like I love sparkling water as well. That's
Okay.
something that my grandma taught me.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's it, pretty much. I don't like some things like Coke or
Okay.
something like that much sugar in it. And oh,
Okay. Like
I
tea?
love tea. Tea, yes.
Oh, you
So
love
I have
tea.
to drink.
Okay.
I drink probably like 5 cups of tea during the day. Like it
Wow.
keeps me going. Yeah, I really love tea. I'm a
Really?
complete addict, and I start my day and I finish my day with a cup of tea
But black
every
tea
day.
or
Wow.
green tea, Gloriana?
I start with chamomile. I
Chamomile?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
finish with mint.
Okay.
After lunch, I always drink
Okay.
green tea, and then I
Okay.
vary during the day with other flavors.
because I
That's
heard that it's not very
nice.
good to drink all the time green tea. It's
Yes,
not
it's very good.
recommended. You have to be careful with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it has
Oh,
a lot of
thank you, Melania.
antioxidants, so it's very good,
Mm-hmm.
but it can
Okay.
sometimes upset the tummy, so I have to be careful.
Okay.
She
And you
loves
add a little of
like
honey or milk? Sorry,
No,
Eva?
just water.
Just water. Eva, you were saying?
sorry. I say that she loves tea like I love chocolate cake.
Okay, so chocolate cake with tea, very healthy, right?
It's a
it's
very good
it's a good
combination.
combination. It's a good combination, right? So, how about if you had to choose, Gloriana? Imagine the tea disappears from your life. How would you substitute that?
Well, I don't know because tea has a lot of caffeine, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't like the taste of coffee, but perhaps I
Okay.
would have to change
Okay.
into coffee.
Okay. So instead of tea, you would choose coffee. Okay. How about
Yes, probably.
milk? Eva, you like milk?
Not too much.
Not
No,
too much.
I don't really like.
Okay.
Maybe with others like with chocolate.
Okay. Again, with chocolate, that would be nice.
But
You're a
I'm
chocolate addict.
a fan that
Okay, so
Me
you
too,
prefer
and
not to
I eat
drink
a piece
milk.
of chocolate every day because it's impossible living in Germany without eating chocolate. Chocolate is the
Exactly.
best. So I
Chocolate
eat a
is
piece of
delicious.
chocolate.
You're
Yeah, coach,
right.
can I help you reading with the next text?
Please, Melania, help me with that.
Okay, thank you. These are
Thank you.
things
Okay.
to drink.
Mm-hmm.
These are things to drink: milk, coffee, tea, and water. Milk, this is a glass of milk. Most children like to drink milk. Milk comes from cows. Coffee. Some people drink coffee every morning. Some people drink coffee with milk and sugar. Children usually don't drink coffee or tea.
Mm-hmm.
Tea. Many people drink tea. Tea is popular in many parts of the world. Water.
Mm-hmm.
This is a glass of cold water. Cold water tastes good in a hot day. Cup is to coffee a glass. Well, cup is to coffee as glass is to water. We usually drink milk and water from a glass.
That's good. Thank you, Melania. Melania, how many glasses of water you drink a day?
Not too much. I don't drink
Not too
no, not too many
much.
glasses because yeah, I am thinking in doing that habit because I think I need to drink more water, but yeah, not maybe 2 or 3 per day, but not a lot.
Okay, you should drink 7 or 8 according to doctors. Okay, to keep your kidneys healthy is that what we should do. Okay, sometimes I believe we substitute and we drink more coffee than other thing, and we believe, oh, it's liquid, so yeah, I'm doing well, but not necessarily. Eva, how many glasses of water you drink a day?
I don't know how many drinks exactly I drink, but I really like to drink water. Yeah,
Okay,
I
good.
think that it's very necessary for our health,
It
but
is.
some people don't like it. But
Mm-hmm.
for me, I like it very much. Yeah, I can.
Yes, and it's very healthy.
Yeah, I think that I drink more than 8 glasses of water uh,
Okay,
every
but
day.
you exercise, Eva?
No, me.
Okay, you should mix both. You should at
It's
least
a good
walk.
mix because I exercise, but I don't drink water, and you drink water, but you don't
You
exercise.
don't exercise exactly. So you should try to at least 20 minutes a day. You can walk 20 minutes a day at least, okay? So you also sweat and your body is healthy. Remember that everything that you consume should go out too. Okay, that would be nice. Okay, thank you, Eva. Okay, so if you notice, well, now let's go a little bit more serious talking about facts. Okay, here we have the food pyramid, and this is according to nutriologists. They say that we should consume a lot of water. And how do your diet should look like? Well, in this case, fruits and vegetables, 25%. Grains and carbs, 20%. Meat, nuts, seeds, 15. Milk and alternatives, 15. And healthy fats, 10%. When we say healthy fats, what do you understand by that? What could be a healthy fat? Eva, any idea? Melania? Francisco?
Pizza.
Yeah,
Pizza is not
like the
healthy.
fat, like the fatty almonds, for example.
In almonds, exactly.
Yeah.
In nuts, remember that all nuts have healthy fat. That's one good option, Francisco. Okay, I'll give you a clue.
Avocado?
Exactly, avocado, Melania. Very good, very typical in Mexico, here in Honduras too. Eva?
Broccoli.
Broccoli, no, that doesn't contain fat. But perhaps, Eva, if you prepare a salad and you add olive oil, that will be a healthy fat, okay? So we should consume them in small amounts. And those are the servings a day, okay? Vegetables and fruit from 5 to 7. Pasta and grains from 3 to 5. Milk and alternatives, 3. Meat, poultry, and fish, 2. Fats, small amounts. Sweets, small amounts. So Eva, slow down with chocolate cake, okay? Be careful with that. It's not so good for your teeth either, okay? So now, guys, very quickly, please, in 2 minutes, I want you to draw how your plate looks like. I'll show you mine. Look, let's see, mine. Okay, wait. I will. No, you cannot see it. Okay, like this. Look, on my plate, I have rice. Okay, I live in Honduras. Rice, beans, green banana, spaghetti with grated cheese on top, and fried chicken. That's my lunch. So very quickly, Eva, yes, Melania, I know I'm not following a healthy diet, but that's my diet. Eva, very quickly, tell me what is typically on your plate, please. And Melania, do the same. Francisco, do the same, please. In 1 minute. Okay, rice. Eva?
Rice. Beans too.
Beans. So carbo.
Corn.
Corn. Well, that's good. Okay, corn.
And chicken.
How about meat, fish, poultry, and chicken? Well, your diet is healthier than mine. Okay, Francisco, what is typically on your plate? You already say that you love vegetables, right?
Yeah, well, today, for example, I had a salad for lunch. So I had lettuce, avocado, corn, peas, cheese, and olive oil. So it was very nice.
Oh, delicious. Delicious, Francisco. I really admire you, Francisco. I
Oh,
don't have
no.
that.
Yesterday I had 2 pizzas, so I needed to compensate.
Okay.
That was good too.
2 small ones, but yet 2.
Okay, Melania, how about
This
yours?
is mine. Yeah, I had vegetables, potatoes, salad, and a steak.
Oh, but that's very balanced, right? Very, very
Yes,
balanced.
and I have my piece of chocolate. So yes, usually
Oh, your chocolate.
So usually what I do is I try to divide. Yeah, I put some different carbs and protein to produce a balanced plate every day. Because I have the tendency to be fat. So I have to take care of that.
That is exactly, Melania, what we should do. Let me tell you. So you're following a great diet. You include carbs, proteins, vegetables, and legumes, and a little fat. Okay, like Francisco with the olive oil. That is great. So guys,
olive oil, wonderful.
Yes. I need to go to the nutritionist, I believe. Okay. So thank you very much for sharing. Yes, I should. You see that we have different eating habits. We are all different. What do you see in the picture? What happens in picture number 1? What is different here? Melania, can you tell me?
It's a family, maybe in Asia, and they are using
they look like
they're using sticks to
exactly to eat. Okay. What else did you notice? Look at here.
They have little dishes, so they don't have like a
Uh-huh.
big dish in individually, but they have little dishes,
Exactly.
and they have some
Exactly.
central dishes to share in the center.
Exactly. Exactly. And they pick what they want. Eva, what are you seeing here?
Well, there's a man
Mm-hmm.
who stay in on the ground eating his
Okay.
food,
He's sitting on the
and
floor. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And he's
and
eating
with his hands.
with his hand. Okay. So he's not using sticks, he's not using forks, nothing. Okay. Now, Francisco, what do you see here? Thank you, Eva. What do you see here, Francisco?
In any of the pictures?
And this one, number 3, specifically,
Oh,
please.
sorry.
Yeah.
So number 3, I see a big family gathering,
Mm-hmm.
having
Yes.
having a very nice lunch with lots of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
a lot of food
It looks
sharing.
like they're talking, right? And enjoying.
Exactly.
Uh-huh. They're having fun. Very good. And I just one thing comes to my mind when I see this guy. What city of the world do you think this is going on?
New
Where?
York.
New York. Right? We know in New York has a hectic life. So Eva, would you do this, Eva?
Maybe, but not really.
Yeah, it's not good. You know, when you eat, you should be sitting down and eating in peace. But this guy is too busy, I believe, and eating a sandwich. Okay,
But
so perhaps he's too busy. Mm-hmm.
you don't really enjoy your food.
You don't really enjoy it. You're right, and you should. Like this family, it should be a moment where you enjoy, where you really like your food, where you talk and share with people. Okay, not necessarily your family, but you share. So we have different habits in different countries, in different cultures. So, Melania, can you please help me? What are the traditions in India regarding eating, please?
Okay, India. It is pretty widely known that Indians traditionally eat with hands. However, this practice is not limited to traditional Indians only. Many urban Indians today, whether living in India or not, maintain the practice of eating using their hands. Some say it's more delicious to do so, perhaps
Mm-hmm.
due to the ability to personally mix your food and curries to your precise taste.
Mm-hmm. Very
Before
good.
settling, okay. Before settling down to begin your meal, make sure to wash your hands thoroughly
Mm-hmm.
first. Always eat with your right hand only. Eating with your left is considered disrespectful I don't know how to pronounce that.
Unhygienic. Unhygienic.
Unhygienic.
Mm-hmm.
Unhygienic. Oh my God.
Unhygienic. Huh? It's a complicated
Unhygienic.
word. Unhygienic. Or you can say it's
Unhygienic.
not hygienic. Okay.
Okay. Unhygienic.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually unhygienic because it's hygiene.
Hygienic.
Unhygienic.
Unhygienic.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you
Okay.
for the correction. Thank you very much, Francisco.
Unhygienic. Unhygienic. As a rule of thumb, make sure you're sure not to have any food touch with your palms, and do not put your fingers into your mouth. Instead,
Mm.
use your thumb to push the food into your mouth. Francisco, can
What a
you repeat the
complicated
word again?
tradition. Mm-hmm.
Francisco, can you repeat the word again?
On
Hygienic.
Francisco,
It's a little bit
you said?
complicated, right? So
Uh-huh.
think of the main word hygiene first, right?
Hygiene.
Hygiene.
So
Yeah.
unhygienic.
Unhygienic. Okay.
Unhygienic.
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 Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you, Francisco. Thank you very much. So it's
Yeah.
kind of complicated, right? Indian traditions are kind of complicated. Imagine if we go from this side of the planet and we go there. What if we lick our fingers? Oh my goodness. What if I eat with they say that you can only eat with your right hand. What if, let's see, yes, make sure you wash your hands first. And they say only with the right. What if I eat with my left? What if I'm lefty? I would have problems in India. Okay.
Yes.
So
And that's
yeah,
because you use the left hand to wipe
to
your
go to the
butt when you
restroom,
go
right?
to the toilet.
Uh-huh.
right?
Yes. It is. It is. You know, it happened to a friend of mine, Francisco. Well, it was a teacher, in fact. He said that once he visited India, he didn't know that. He did exactly that. And everyone was like very mad at him first, very disgusted. And he didn't know. He had to tell them, sorry, I didn't investigate first. And I'm so sorry for that. Okay. I didn't mean to be disrespectful with you. Okay. So we should investigate before traveling. Eva?
They take that like disrespectful.
It
Very
is. It is. It is. It is. So let's just read about South Korea, Francisco, please, and then we're going to move faster. Okay, we're about to finish. Don't worry.
All right. In Korea, respect for the elders is a key element to keep in mind. Before beginning a meal, make sure the seniors and elders on the table have begun eating first. Unlike China and Japan, holding your rice bowl in your hand while eating is not norm here unless you are receiving food that is being served to you. When receiving food or drink served to you, you should hold your bowl or glass with two hands to be polite.
To be polite. So you notice they respect a lot the elders. So even on the table. So it's very interesting that here, what we normally do, you have your dish and you start eating, and the rest, we don't care too much about the rest, okay? But they respect a lot the little ones and the elder ones, okay? So thank you very much for that. Let's wrap up, okay? And I just want you to pick one or two questions and ask among yourselves. So Francisco, you choose first, and then you choose a classmate and ask that specific question, please.
Eva, let's pretend that you are in a foreign country you've never been to, and you're invited for dinner at a family's house. What should you do before getting there?
Okay, but wait, Francisco, the questions are the ones that I'm showing here on the screen.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, they're not hypothetical right now. It's just about these ones, because this is what we have studying NEO, okay? Yeah, it's okay.
Mine was interesting. Anyway.
Yeah,
I thought of an answer.
Okay, so let's do Francisco's question.
Don't worry.
Yeah, go ahead, Eva. Come on.
Don't worry.
Okay, well, so pick one of these, Francisco.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, Veladia. Wait.
So I pick any of these ones. So Eva, are you good at cooking?
Are you good at cooking, Eva?
Well, I'm not really good at cooking, but when I do, I really enjoy it. Either for me or for my family. Maybe I get a little stressed, but I really enjoy it.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Now, Melania, you will answer Francisco's question, and then you will make another question, okay, from the one in the list.
Yeah, if I'm invited to for example, to a dinner in a foreign country, I would ask, what do I have to bring? What should I bring?
That's good.
Like a wine or something to share? Because I know in some cultures, you as an invitation, as part of the invitation, you're supposed to bring something to share with the food. Okay. So that's what I would do.
That's good.
Is that a good answer, Francisco, for you?
Yeah. You know, I would Google what the customs are. In some countries, if you eat everything that's on your plate, it's very disrespectful. And in others, you're expected to eat everything on your plate. So it really depends where you are.
That would be very interesting. Yes. And
so
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Yes.
Do you like Chinese food?
The question is for Francisco.
Yes.
Yeah, I like.
Okay, Francisco.
I like vegetable fried rice.
Oh, good.
They prepare it really nice, and it can last for 3-4 days if you order it in a nice Chinese restaurant. So yeah, I do.
Okay, that's good, Francisco. Eva, and you like Chinese food, Eva?
No, miss. I don't. Not much.
Not much. Okay. Here Honduras is kind of salty. It's very, very salty. So perhaps that's why you don't like it, right? Okay. That's good, guys. So remember that what we study in NEO and in this lesson specifically is to use the expressions I like. I like to eat vegetables, or I prefer tea to coffee, as Gloriana said. Or I don't like, a synonym of I don't like could be I dislike. Or you can even say my favorite drink is coffee or tea. I can't stand garlic. Or as Francisco said, cauliflower. I can't stand cauliflower. Or I love sushi if you really love something. Or you can also use the expression, I would rather eat vegetables than rice. So all of these expressions were taught in NEO. So I encourage you to practice them in your everyday speaking, okay? Remember your progress. The weekly goal is 7,500 points a week. Eva, congratulations. The first week you did it very, very well, even with your mastery. The second week also, the third week, and your masteries are rocking, okay? You are doing really great. Francisco, please, you need to move faster, okay? Remember, you're getting a little bit behind, but I'm sure you can do it, okay, Francisco? I trust you, and I know you're gonna do it by the end of this period. And remember, for next week, the next time I see you, you need to have 30,000 points. Yes or yes, without excuses. And some tips, remember to save your favorite lessons, the ones that are gonna be used for the review before the mastery. Remember to take notes. Sometimes the listening part is kind of long, the sentences are long, so you might forget them. My recommendation, take notes and study in a quiet place, okay? The other day, Eva, that you were studying, you told me that there was a lot of noise, so this is not good for you, okay? So guys, thank you very much for being with me today. I really love talking to you, and I'm eager to see you next class, okay? So thank you very much. See you.
Thank you, Karen. Happy
You're
weekend.
welcome. You
Okay.
too. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eva.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Kev.
Thank
Have a
you.
great
Kev,
day.
¿puedes terminar de grabar, Kev, porfa?
Bye, Eva. Thank you very much for your help.
Eva, muchas gracias.
It was a pleasure for me.